Hey everyone, welcome to the Modern Merchant Podcast. I'm your host, Travis Merrier, CEO of FlexPoint. Today we've got Fred McKinnon here, owner of HPP Enterprises and TLO Outdoors. Fred, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Travis. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So we got a couple different businesses to talk about today. Love to kind of just kicked off with, kind of your background, kind of the companies that you run, and a quick overview.
Yeah, sure. HPP Enterprises, as you mentioned, we were joking before the recording. I don't even think I have a website for that, but that is kind of a generic umbrella seller account business name for marketplace selling. I've been on Amazon and third-party marketplaces for about 20 years now. So before Seller Central happened, before FBA happened, way back in, it was actually an Amazon marketplace and it was called a Z Shop back then. So I was doing a lot of reselling and drop shipping underneath the seller account or the business name HPP Enterprises. TLO Outdoors is actually one of my private labels. It's a private label product, so that we do sell all of the TLO outdoor gear underneath that HPP Enterprises brand on or seller name, business name on marketplaces, but then it's on dedicated like Shopify channel. And as if that's not enough, I own and operate eBusiness Online, which is a boutique management agency. So having done this for 20 years, I started consulting other people that needed help selling physical products on Amazon, launching on Amazon, scaling on Amazon, that type of thing. So we're managing about 12 brands right now, and it's growing every month.
Wow. So with all those things going on, where is your focus? Is it mostly with the management of those 12 brands, or kind of how do you split your time between Amazon sales, Shopify store, managing brands? How does that work?
Yeah, at this season of life right now, Travis, is probably like 98% on eBusiness Online and in the agency aspect, managing clients. That's scaling up pretty quickly. So with my own accounts and with my own brands, I joke with the old fable, the cobbler's kids don't have any shoes. So my own brands, my own products are kind of treading water a little bit, but I've got a great team underneath me. So, for example, one of my main assistants pretty much runs everything on the HPP Enterprises and the TLO Outdoors. So it's still, piping along pretty good. But I think it's important. I feel like it's really important, especially as an agency owner, to stay in the game as a seller. For two reasons. A, it keeps me plugged into what's happening with real sellers, in the trenches. And B, especially with the private label, that's always still a future exit. So it's just financially, it's part of the exit plan to sell the brand to vintage.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you stay current. You're going through the same woes that your customers are, right, on the agency side, and you're staying sharp on it, right? And that's kind of what gave you the ability to start the agency, right? eBusiness Online. You've been doing it. I know you've been a customer with us. I mean, it's been 20 years, something like that.
I don't remember. Yeah, it has to be about 20 years when it was inventory source at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And everything, my entire business started with inventory source and downloading custom files and uploading them to the Amazon marketplace.
Awesome. My business partner, now our executive chairman, who wrote the first, inventory source code, sitting right next to me in the office next to me. I'm sure he's gonna love to watch this one. We told that you're gonna be on the podcast. I go, yeah, I know Fred. So that's awesome. That's why I'm excited to have you on and all that. So I mean, when it comes to your eBusiness Online, that's your 98%. That's what you're focused on. Who is your primary customer? Like if you're going to talk about who you guys help, like who you look for, what kind of customer is that?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're kind of wrestling through that question right now as we're beginning to scale and try to find out who that perfect customer is. Ideally, great customers are kind of mid-level to even national brands who are beginning to make the pivot to sell direct consumer. You've got a lot of established brands who are still clinging on to the old school model of we're only going to do wholesale distribution. We don't want to upset our brick and mortar stores, that kind of thing. Yet, the way the world has changed, people are expecting to buy directly from brands. And so onboarding those types of brands with their own seller accounts on Amazon, Walmart, marketplace and different third parties, that's an ideal customer because they already have, the brand exposure to launch quickly. But that's, we work with a lot of people, Travis, who are just, they're small, they're mom and pop, and they've got a product and they're excited to launch it, but they don't know where to start. And they don't know the Amazon or the Walmart landscape. They don't know the language, and they just need help. So we've worked from people with 1 or 2 products that are just getting started to national brands. A lot of the ones that are already in the 40 to 50K a month range, and they're kind of doing it themselves, but they kind of hit a ceiling and they need our experience to take them to the next level. We work with those as well.
Right. So I know there's a lot of people out there wanting to sell on Amazon, wanting to sell better on Amazon. What would you say over you got 12 clients right now. You've had clients previously. You've been selling on Amazon for years. What's kind of the top things you come in and do right out the gate? Maybe not. I don't want to take away from your YouTube channel the top 5 things that an Amazon seller should do. But really like that. I'd love to hear just some quick hits where you always see here's some low hanging fruit for Amazon sellers.
Yeah, I think honestly the best low hanging fruit and the best advice I would have for people that are starting out, because that's terrifying. I have people, I'm 53, right? And I have people my age, my buddies, that know I've done this, and some of them are in these kind of jobs where they're able to retire about this age, government jobs, things like that. I don't think I'm going to get into e-commerce. What should I do? And it terrifies me, right? Because I was like, okay, are you sure you want to do this? But the biggest one would be, and it comes down to the product. You need to have a good product. And in the past, how it was 4 or 5 years ago, you could just jump on Alibaba and find a garlic press, to use the product that everybody uses in the industry as an example, and slap your logo on it. You've created a private label brand and you're doing that, but it's just hard to succeed that way now. So, you want to find a creative product that solves a problem and that isn't just a Me Too copy of everything else out there. And that's hard to do, but you need to have some differentiation and some kind of a moat, some kind of a intellectual property protection, something like that, to really jump out there and have a chance. Because I think I send a lot of business away. I'm not going to take their check and sign them to an agreement, launch them when I look at their product and it's just a carbon copy cookie cutter of another 100 identical products sold by Chinese sellers on Amazon. They're not going to win that way.
Yeah, no doubt. And so having the experience that you have in this e-commerce world, I'm curious, I'm trying to remember if you were part of the e-commerce fuel, or what groups in general that you've been a part of to kind of share knowledge, learn from other people. Any advice on certain groups that you're a part of or have been a part of that you would recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. ECommerce Fuel is awesome. I've been a member there forever. They're actually in their live event in New Orleans right now. And FOMO, I missed it. I didn't go out this year. And but that's ECommerce Fuel, and it's a private community. Not just anyone can join that. You have to apply. There's some income verification. It's for 7+ figure sellers, but an amazing opportunity to be there. And then from within there, about 4 or 5 years ago, there were about 5 of us from ECF that I started a mastermind, and we meet every other week and even go deeper and drill deeper into our businesses there. I also recently started participating in MDS, $1 Million Sellers. That is a private community as well, for 7+ figure sellers. And so, it's really good, but both of those are premium, where you have to pay to be in those. They're not cheap by any means, but there's so many great free groups out there. I love, for example, one that I promote a lot is the My Silent Team. Is Jim Cochran's Facebook group.
Okay.
And he's got what I believe to be probably the best Amazon course out there, as far as from top to bottom for beginners. It's called the Proven Amazon Course, PAC. And, there are people in there that are hobbyists that are doing retail arbitrage or drop shipping, or going out on the weekend and buying some shoes on clearance, and then flipping it on. And they're making college money, they're making tuition money, they're making grocery money. But then there's people that have scaled that up to millions of dollars in sales. And so that course kind of covers everything from arbitrage to what they call replens, where you're replenishing the same type of wholesale product over and over, all the way up into the multi-million-dollar private label sellers. It's a fantastic community on Facebook, and it's free.
Oh, very cool. I've never heard that. I feel like I've been in the e-commerce game for over a decade now, and replend, huh? I've never heard that strategy.
Yeah, replend. So that's the word that they use over there in that community. It just means replenishables. So, they're using their cheap, extensions and tools, and they're finding ASINs or products on Amazon that you could easily source from retail stores or wholesale stores all across the country. And they're just everywhere. They're everywhere, right? I mean, they're just everywhere. And they're the kind of things that you can buy and send to Amazon, and they just repeatedly sell over and over and over and over. And with good margin. Sometimes after fees, they're making 20, 30, 40% margin.
Well,
and to me, that's really, you could do that at scale and make a ton of money, but there's so many people, Travis, that want to do e-commerce and just as a hobby, just as a way to make. I got 4 kids, man. I'm paying 2 tuitions at the same time to colleges and universities. People like that, they're looking like, how can I get an extra $1,000 a month? Well, or a couple of thousand or $500 extra a month. Anything to help. Especially like right now, it's 2024, right? March 2024. The price of groceries is through the roof. Everything's expensive. So that's ways people can really change their life.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it's funny you brought up TPO. We were just telling a story yesterday about the U.S. Direct, side of our business, where we kind of do the virtual drop shipper, virtual distributor kind of business. And we did play around a little bit with let's buy wholesale, and let's do like a wholesale buying group, and let's see where that goes. And it was super successful in like the 1 or maybe 1 month, maybe 6 weeks we did it, but we just saw there was so much to it, right? We're running a software company, now we got to run this company, but we used Keepa, and we had to buy in like a small animal litter box for like ferrets, and it was ridiculous, and we bought stacks of them. But Keepa told us that was the one to buy, and man, we sold out of those things instantly. Like, it was just, that's such a great tool, and kind of showing you where the demand is. It's so random how the kind of products that you find on that, using that as a research tool.
Yeah, I still do it, because it's just another income stream. That's the kind of the wholesale resale income stream under HPP Enterprises. And I'm not a guy who sends people out to the stores, to shop and stuff like that. But what I'll do is I'll utilize the distributors and suppliers that I find through Flexible. And through that relationship, there was, originally inventory source and all the pre-connected suppliers that you guys had access to. I have no idea. You would know better than me the number of SKU across all those distributors that you've made available to people. It's got to be in the hundreds of thousands. So I know I had well over 500,000 SKU on Amazon at one time when I was mass drop shipping. And they're in there. I did one through Cenex, one of the suppliers. They're there. I've got software that I use called PC2. And I download their catalog and I process it. Or I'll hook it up to FlexPoint to your software, and I'll go into the catalog and I'll export the CSV with the UPC code, the SKU, and the cost. 3 columns, that's it. Run it through this software, and it basically is like glorified Keepa. And it spits out a huge spreadsheet of everything that fits within my parameters. Like, I only want to see things where Amazon's not selling it, where I can make 30%, and so forth.
Yeah.
I bought a bunch of power strips the other day. Right. Like little $9 power strips that sell for $29 on Amazon. And I set like 30 or 40 of them, to Amazon, and checked them in, and they were gone. I was like, that's a replacement.
Yeah.
I have that on autopilot. Just keep buying those, keep sending them in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you mentioned it. Cenex itself, I think they have 200,000, 300,000 SKUs, something like that. They're always bringing in new products. D&H is a big one in electronics, but electronics alone, we've got about 5 different suppliers in just that category. I think we have over 2 million, 3 million products, some along those lines. So I would say in the actual directory of 180 pre-integrated suppliers, we probably have 6, 7, 8 million products, maybe. They're constantly bringing in new. And so it sounds like your, inventory source is exactly what it sounds like, right? A place to source inventory. It sounds like you've got a good process to see the new products coming through, determine what you want to sell, and kind of go from there. So I would love to kind of hear more. And I know I was part of this with you early days. The decision to go from inventory source to FlexPoint, right? Because inventory source is still up and running. We rolled out FlexPoint right in parallel with it. What kind of led you to kind of move platforms from inventory source to FlexPoint?
I think you did. Somebody did. And I'll be honest, this might not be the right answer for the interview, but I don't remember exactly. I think I went into it thinking that FlexPoint was taking over and like it was migrating from one platform to another, like it was inventory source 2.0, like the new, better version. That was several years ago. So
yeah.
I don't remember that. I just remember one I saw that I really, really liked. And the thing about inventory sources, I didn't have that kind of visibility into the catalog, into the parameters and all the filters. And at the time, I was at the peak of my dropship business, Travis. I was using Channel Advisor, and I was using Channel Advisor, and then I was using HubLogic, which was kind of like a FlexPoint.
Yep.
And Channel Advisor then bought HubLogic, so I was looking at like $7,000 a month in fees, right? And it didn't work anymore. That's when I had 9 staff members, 14 plus $15 million a year in sales, all drop ship. And the math didn't make sense. When I started it, I was one of 5 people on Amazon sourcing Sony headphones from D&H, and selling them profitably. But now, you try to do that and you're one of 500 sellers on Amazon, and they nickel it and dime it all the way down to where you're not making any money. So
yep.
I got out of that model completely. And then we kind of circled back around. Like, I killed that thing. And then you guys circled back around and introduced me to FlexPoint. I was like, whoa, I need to go back and rethink this. Yeah. And so that's what I did. And actually, talking about replens and that kind of thing, that's one way to FlexPoint and the entire dropship part on Amazon. It was really helpful for me because I learned that I could connect to a lot of your pre-integrated suppliers and list those products on Amazon, and I could drop ship them. And then what we would do is we'd say, hey, like this particular SKU, we keep getting in the buy box and we're selling a couple a day. So then we would identify products that we knew we could win on by drop shipping. And then those were the ones that made the cut to go to wholesale, where we would then say, hey, instead of drop shipping this at this unit price and $10 shipping for one unit, let's go on and buy a pallet of it at a much cheaper unit price. And usually when you start buying truckloads or pallet loads, those distributors will send it to you for free. And that made a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is the secret sauce of drop shipping right there, right? That is the absolute, that's what people who have been in the game like yourself for a while know, that's like the benefit of drop shipping is getting that data. I mean, you can do analysis and A/B testing and market testing and things like that and buying a small bit, but if you can get a ton of product out there and then see what actually sells, in your capacity, right? Whether it's through your website, whether it's through Amazon, whatever it might be, and you can see that throughput and then go and double down and buy and get more margin. Like that is exactly what we've been preaching. And, because dropshipping, as you mentioned, it's a tough game, especially this time, now in 2024 compared to the 2015, 2010, whatever it might be. So people, it gets a bad name sometimes. You go search on YouTube, dropshipping's dead, right? Like all that kind of stuff. But it's a fulfillment model that can be leveraged in a way to run an e-commerce business that it's just another kind of in the back pocket, kind of trick in the back pocket. So awesome to see that. So yeah, when it comes to flexibility, you know, we talked about you guys, you moved over, and I think it probably was for that, right? It was for the advanced reporting. It was having one central catalog, everything kind of in one, bringing in multiple products that might be sourced from multiple different sources and be able to kind of have a central point for that. So, you know, glad that you kind of moved over with us. But, you know, I'm curious in general, what are you seeing in the industry? What, you know, you've got multiple clients, you've got your own business. What's 2024 look like for, you know, for the multiple businesses that you have?
Yeah, I think it's early, but I think that it's exciting because e-commerce as a whole is blowing up. Every year, it just gets bigger and bigger. At the same time, I think there's maybe a culling that's going to happen, especially with Amazon, because their fees just keep getting up. And so you might be following the sky is falling since March 1st. You know, Amazon's new inbound placement fees have rocked the seller world. Most sellers are experiencing anywhere from 2 to 4x cost in inbounding inventory to Amazon. So that's pretty significant. In my 20 years, I feel like this new inbound placement fee on Amazon is probably one of the most drastic changes that they've done, and the pushback on it is immense. So you're seeing a lot of people throwing in the flag already. You know, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to pivot to merchant fulfilled or drop ship. So there could be a little bit of a pendulum swing there, but I think that's maybe going to cull out some smaller sellers or people who don't have the margin or ability to do that. The other thing I see is again, I see it needing to be products that bring value that can be differentiated and protected, like we talked about earlier on. And then I think outside of the Amazon, well, let's talk about Walmart for a second. Walmart Marketplace, and FlexPoint integrates beautifully into Walmart Marketplace. Walmart's pushing hard. I mean, really, really hard. That they are really catching up. As far as some of the services and offerings, you know, they've got their own version of FBA. They've got Walmart Fulfillment Service. They've got the advertising now, Walmart Connect. So now they've got the same sponsored products. They've recently launched the whole branded trademark brand registration. They've got the brand store. They've got video ads, sponsored brands ads. So they're really catching up there, and they're really recruiting hard, you know, to get people on the platform. So all of this push and all these increased fees at Amazon and then Walmart's over here saying, hey, we haven't raised our fees, you know, for our fulfillment service. Come check us out. And then you had things like TikTok Shop that's completely changing the game, blowing up. And I'm still trying to figure that out. I know people that are exploding on TikTok Shop that are just seeing unheard of returns on TikTok Shop. And then there's the same number of people who just can't even get the thing open, right? It's just a mess. It's like the Wild West over there, but that's working. The other thing is, you know, user-generated content. That's huge. It's always been important, but I think 2024, that's more important than ever. And you see those acronyms, UGC. And for the person watching this, maybe they don't know what that is. That means like if you got a product and you sell it to your product, you sell your product to a consumer, you want the consumer making the video, making the review. And I was on with a guy yesterday who sells t-shirts. And right after he sells the t-shirt, they send him a text message and they say, hey, oh, by the way, we're going to give you a $25 gift card to our website if you'll make a video in this format that we can share on our Instagram or on our TikTok. And so they have all these customers going, hey, I love my new t-shirt. I'm wearing my new t-shirt. And those are the things that you can use in your social media marketing, Facebook, Instagram ads, TikTok ads. Those are the ads that can convert and that really, you know, drive profitable traffic to your store. You're seeing a lot of that. You're seeing a lot of collaboration between influencers and brands.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and you know, Fred, a lot of good nuggets right there, just on like little things that Amazon sellers or e-commerce sellers in general can do. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you dropping some knowledge. I think, you know, talking about all the different groups that you mentioned, I think was huge. I think that would be great for people that are looking to do that, if they're a 7-figure seller, e-commerce fuel, I can speak to that one. I was out there in San Diego last year, I think it was, and man, I know we didn't make it out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Andrew, what he's done with that intro basketball game is just epic. We got to go surfing in San Diego, man. It was such a great. So if you're a 7-figure seller, check out e-commerce fuel. The other ones you mentioned are awesome too. I'll have to check those out as well. But I appreciate it, Fred. This was awesome. It was jam packed with a bunch of good nuggets for e-commerce sellers. If someone wants to learn more, I know you got a YouTube channel and things like that. If someone wants to learn more about you, where do they go? How do they find you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, appreciate the drop of the YouTube. It's youtube.com/ the channel is eBusiness Online, and I got that hyphen. We're talking about rebranding, actually. There may be a big rebrand coming in 2024 for my agency. It's been that forever. It's e-businessonline.com. And the way the YouTube channels are set up now is, youtube.com/ and then the @ e-businessonline, and our website, e-businessonline.com.
The dashes are coming back, man. It's retro. I like it. It shows lots of experience.
I've been trying to buy the non-hyphenated ebusinessonline.com forever. Yeah. I actually offered them like $5,000 for it, but they want $20,000 for it. I'm like, man, I'll just save $15,000 and stay with the hyphen.
There you go. Well, awesome, Fred. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it, man.